Eric Horn here with Brett Dawson after a Thunder butt whooping by the Bulls. A Bulls whipping of the Thunder. The Bulls win 128-100. This was really one of the Thunder's worst performances of the season, Brett.
Worst at home, probably? Seems like the worst
I'd
at
say
home.
it's probably the worst at home.
Run out of the building, I think the Bulls shot 75% in the third quarter. At one point, the Bulls were shooting 75% for the second half. At one point, they were 19 of 24. Steven Adams said after the game, Chicago basically got whatever it wanted, and that's the way it looked defensively in that second half. The Thunder's offense is really struggling, and that continued. But defensively tonight, just not really there.
You know, they got clean looks. Anthony Morrow had a lot of clean looks in the third quarter. He started off 0 for 4. But Billy Donovan said, the Thunder's got to start with their defense, getting stops that leads to offense. We know this team can't shoot very well. We know this team is one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the league. So what they have to do is play defense well. And tonight, they were giving up too many easy baskets. 60% from the field for the Bulls. That's the highest anybody shot against the Thunder all season.
Yeah, and look, there's no Enes Kanter. Right now, there's no Alex Abrinas. This team is limited offensively already. That hurts it even worse. It decimates your second unit scoring. These guys aren't great defenders. That's not the reason the defense isn't working right now. That starts with at the beginning. The starters are really struggling offensively, but they've got to be there defensively. And like Billy Donovan said, you got to do all those little things and grind it out when you're not a great offensive team, which we know this team is not.
Russell Westbrook, I don't think you can really put much fault on him for tonight. I mean, the entire team didn't play very well defensively, but Westbrook had 28 points. He really took it upon himself in the third quarter to assert himself and start getting to the rack more, and it just didn't work out for him. He made some big buckets. He had 12 of their 26 in the third quarter, and the rest of the team around him was kind of flat offensively. And we've seen these nights before. We've seen it. We saw it in San Antonio. We saw it in Cleveland with the Thunder shooting getting dry, and it's going to be something to look forward to coming up to this trade deadline, February 23rd. We're officially, I guess, 20 or 21 days away from it. Is the Thunder going to be able to go and get somebody that can help them offensively?
Yeah, Russell Westbrook said after the game in San Antonio last night, there's enough in this room to be better than they are right now. And that may or may not be true.
Optimism. That's a tad bit optimistic.
That's what he has to say. He can't say anything else. The question is that legitimately true? Is this enough? And without Kanter, offensively, it doesn't seem like maybe it is enough. But they have got to take care of all those things defensively. We've seen this team have limited stretches offensively. When Victor Oladipo was out, this is a very limited offensive team. They made up for that with what they did defensively. At this point, it's not doing those things.
Good news for the Thunder, the home slate in February. It's going to be heavy home games. Also good news, the distance between the 7 and the 8 seed is pretty vast in the Western Conference. So the Thunder has a margin for error, but if they want to get a better seed, they're going to have to improve offensively and, bring the defense against a team like the Bulls.
Here's the bad news about the home slate. It includes Memphis up next, and that's a tricky game.
And then Golden State next week.
Oof.
And Cleveland.
At times collectively as a group scoring. But I think even in Cleveland and San Antonio, we really kind of tried to grind and defend and create maybe some fast break points or some open floor opportunities. And then I thought today was another game where we struggled to score. But I thought we contributed to some of the point difference in the game tonight. They don't take anything away from Chicago because they made shots, they played well, they did a lot of good things. But I think for us, we did some of that to ourselves tonight. And we're going to have to understand that these lessons that maybe we've learned the last couple games, and someone said to me about this whole idea of getting out of January, and I said I've never looked at it that way, and I never have. It's a long season, and unfortunately, these are the growing pains that we have to go through in order to learn through these experiences to get better and really fully understand, what it takes to be the best version of ourselves and what it takes to play and compete at the very, very top of what we're capable of. And tonight, I think that this will be one of those learning experiences that we're going to have to learn from.
Coach, I think you just slightly touched on what I was about to ask, which is finally back home. Was this kind of maybe a little bit what you were worried about kind of exhaling a little bit, being back home? It didn't seem like maybe the effort was bad, but just from a mental standpoint.
Well, I don't want to take anything or just like compare one game to the next, but I felt a similar way against Dallas, and obviously Dallas was really, really undermanned just from the standpoint of the amount of players that were out through injury and they sat. And we managed to find a way to win the game. And tonight, I thought it was similar. But, here's a team in Chicago that, we went up to Chicago and, we beat them handily on their court. And Butler, maybe wasn't going to play. He was under the weather. You knew, and then a couple days off. We're on a back-to-back. You knew they were going to come ready to play. We talked about those things, but we needed more of a defensive stance than we had tonight. And I don't feel like our guys necessarily exhaled. I thought that we needed to understand. We've got to understand that we're going to have to grind on every possession, defensively and offensively, because at times scoring doesn't come easy for us. It just doesn't. And we've got to keep grinding and working to try to generate points. The best way for us to generate points is off of getting stops, because we're a terrific transition team because of Russell and the other guy's ability to be able to run the floor and finish as well.
Beat them by a lot of points. We didn't execute well enough on the defensive end to stop them. They were getting whatever they wanted. Their pace was exactly how they wanted to play. So we just got to be more disruptive, throwing them off pace, just making them catch it out of their spots. They're just getting it wherever they want. Low post ups, elbow catches, all that. Whatever you want in an offense, that's what they're getting.
Are you looking forward to having at least a few days here now, in the next couple days and the next couple weeks to finally play some home games?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's always fun to play at home, obviously for the fans and whatnot, but obviously the bigger task at hand is just making sure that we're all on the same page. Just executing wise discipline, gotta just have a lot more focus. So just as the detailed stuff, just we're not focusing too much on that, you know what I mean? And that's not the coaches, it's the players. It's got to come from us. So it'll be good next couple of days to try and make sure we get that locked down. Yeah.
Steve, when you talk about those issues, details, that kind of stuff, is that a problem at both ends? Is that part of the offensive problems as well?
Yeah, kind of. Not really though. It's just on the defensive end, bro. Like offensively, we get good shots, and sometimes it goes in, sometimes it doesn't. But you can't just let teams just score a load of points and it's literally just like they're scoring because you didn't make them catch it one step out. Like those details there, it all matters, right? So that's where it really comes down to. So defensively, right? So.
Steve, once you've pointed out the details, how can you get to the point where you actually correct them? Like, what do you have to do in the actual game in order to implement those corrections?
Well, again, it's just the focus of the ball, just the discipline of actually executing every single play and identifying it. Obviously, it's a lot different with the pace of the game. You just have to be aware of it. But I don't know, we've done it before. You know, I mean, we usually do it. But, I don't know, it's just didn't happen tonight, and that's what happens. Teams just get their pace is just constantly flowing. They get confident now. They just do whatever they want. You know what I mean? It's hard to stop.